Hey there guys, and welcome back. So, lots happened. I've been away for a little while. Stream is a little delayed because, as you can see, everything is especially dark with this whiteboard. I did have this problem before. I think the problem actually is worse now that I got this glossy surface on the whiteboard. But that is the topic of today's video. So, the reason this surface is glossy, this whiteboard for the record, and I'm calling it a whiteboard, which kind of gives it away along with the markers, but this is one of those deskettes that I had been talking about for the longest time for me to do projects on. So on this side, this is, I don't know if the camera's going to pick it up, but it's a bit messy from different projects I've been working on. So it's not particularly nice, but it's doing the job. However, I decided to Google and search, and as it turns out, you can get a spray that turns any surface into a dry erase board. So I figured that was great for the stream because I often am just writing stuff on pads of paper and it often does not come up well on the monitor, but as you can see, this is turning out quite well. So this is going to be a good solution. However, at this point I have this whole entire pack of markers, and I don't particularly want to just leave them in this thing. I prefer to have them somewhere on my desk in a stand. So I figured, you know what, good back to designing stream topic. Let's make a case for these markers, some kind of stand slash case that I can have set up on the desk so I can grab them whenever I need them. So that's going to be topic number one. Topic number two is I just got this the other day, and this is an USB-C to HDMI cable. And the reason I got this is because, in theory, well, a little bit of backstory. I've been recording videos while I was on break, trying to get some stuff in the can so that I could start producing them once I got back. And some of the footage I've had to scrap because I can't see my phone when I'm recording with the back end. So I think I have everything in the shot, and I definitely don't. So in theory, I can take this, I can grab a little mini monitor, and I can hook this up to my phone with the mini monitor, and I'll be able to see what the heck's going on with my phone while I'm recording. The other thing that this lets me do is, well, I mean, it lets me do a variety of other things, but point being, that was the main purpose. That main purpose was to have a monitor to see what is getting recorded, so I stopped running into this problem where I have no idea what the heck I'm shooting, and evidently everything's out of frame. So, as frustrating as that was, we came up with a solution. Now I just need to make a mount to mount this to whatever I'm mounting my phone to. You know, mount the monitor and this cable to that so that I can just take it off, slap it onto whatever, and get going. So that will be the second half of this stream, assuming that it doesn't take me forever to make a simple case for these markers, which hopefully it doesn't. So, that is the deal here. Stream did start a bit late today. I was hoping to get here right at 8, and it's been a while, so I don't blame you if you don't remember, but Thursdays are family dinner night. So normally I don't stream on that night, or I stream much later. One of those things, I wanted to make sure that on June 1st I got a stream in because I have been away for so long, and I wanted to make sure I was back on June 1st. And therefore, we're making do. So this is 10 point, we're going to call it 10.8, just to be safe. It can be a little bit loose. The other thing is down here, it should be, yeah, that's all the way down to 9.8 on the back end. But I'm assuming that I'm probably going to want to sit them in the holder like this. So this is what we're going to be shooting for. We're going to be shooting for the thicker thickness down here, which, again, rounded up is 2.8. Might be closer to 2.9. Actually, at its thickest, I'm realizing it's closer to 11. Yeah, we'll see what happens. So if I make a clip and it clips in, then we may go with the 2.8. Otherwise, if it's a slot and we slot in, we'll go with the 11. If not, a little bit bigger. So that is pen diameter and 11. So that is that. We've got 8 pens. And I'm going to write that down because when we start talking, well, I don't know when we'll talk about the projects, but of all the projects that I was doing over the break, one of them I accidentally designed for the wrong number of slots. It was another organizing tool, and I designed it for the wrong number of slots and had to go back and reprint it, which was a little bit of annoying. So 8 pens is what we got here. We could consider, making it a little bit more in case I get more pens, but fact of the matter is that I don't know if I'm even going to use all these pens to begin with. As you can see, I literally just have the black marker in my hand. Also, one of those things, back to first time back in like 2 months. I think the audio levels are correct, but I apologize if the music is a little loud. One of those things that comes through louder on my end than it does on your end. However, I did a little listen to the monitor and it sounded like it was right, so I even turned it down slightly from where I had it. But I just wanted to apologize in advance just in case. Anything else here? Yeah, I mean, I guess the only other thing we can do is we can start doodling what we think we're going to make. Couple different options, right? We could make a drill index type thing where we got a case and then we got a pivoting thing here. Pivots on these ends. And it goes up like this. Technically like that. Okay. With the holes in like that. And then the front opens up. Could do something like that. Could just have a very simple clip-on system, which I'm not opposed to. Again, this is just something simple to get us started with, and then we'll dive into the more complicated thing of making a whole entire rack system for this. But we could just make some clips. Marker goes in here. And the benefit of doing this is that I can mount this up. Again, my desk right now, I plan on adding some kind of racking system to my desk. That is still technically in the works. I haven't been able to get to that while I was on the break. But assuming I have this racking system up here, then we could sit it on the side over here, somewhere. So this would be a lot easier than this. This is just more, this when it closes up obviously is a lot easier to store. But at the same time, I don't know if I'll ever be storing this stuff, so I don't know if that's really necessary. Plus, it's a lot more plastic. So that is the deal. Those are 2 ideas. Maybe we'll attempt to tackle both of them. But for the time being, let's just get started. Okie dokies. And over to Fusione. And we'll start out with the simple one, the clip holder, to make we can make sure that we have a solution right away, and we don't have to be worried about being an hour into this with the other one, the drill index style, and be crying because we're not done yet. Let's see. So on this one, normally what I do on these kind of clip-in designs, I've done them a few different times, and I prefer to make, well, one of those things. Whoops, sorry. One of these things, I'm going to swap us back over here for the whiteboard. Where's the camera at? There's the camera. So, on my clip-in designs, I much prefer to make it in 2 pieces, such that I'm going to do a side view here. So this is our clip here, okay? And then this is the base. The clip goes through the base and then connects at the bottom, and that's a terrible picture, but I think you get the idea. And the benefit of doing this is that whenever these clips wear out or break, it's one of those things, it's 3D printed plastic. It's not going to hold up forever. All at the same time, it may not need to hold up forever. But the point being is that if something happens, then this is easy to replace, because all you got to do is pop this clip straight out the bottom and put a new one in. So that's how I like doing these clip-in designs, is having them replaceable. And for that reason, we are probably going to have 2 components here is what I'm thinking. Long story short. And I guess I will make both of them subcomponents rather than having one of them be the top component. And on this user, I shouldn't have anything randomly popping up in the text box down here. Spoiler alert, one of the projects I've been working on is actually Fusion add-ins. I had started writing 2 of them back in the day, back when I first started with Fusion, to do cute little things, to actually make components. Honestly, it was actually to make components. But I never finished those ones. Those were not the ones I was working on. I was actually working on very, very useful utility add-ins. But, actually, I want to do the clip first. That one, I have one of them done. The other one is almost done. I ran into a huge snare with the second one, and for that reason, it did not end up getting done before we came back from break. I was hoping to have it done before we came back from break. Otherwise, because they are coding related stuff, I am going to do produced videos where I go over the code in a produced video, like I did for Mythic Table extensions for Chrome, the ChatGPT extension for Chrome, etc., etc., etc. So we won't be doing those on stream. We won't be going through them on stream, but those will be out sooner rather than later because they're a lot easier to make. The videos are a lot easier to make than physical product videos, because all it is me showing you code and then popping back and forth between the UI and the code, and it's just a heck of a lot easier to let's see. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with the 10.8 number. It's a heck of a lot easier to edit. Long story short. Which means that it gets higher priority because it can get done sooner and we can move on with our lives. That actually has a very interesting story attached to it, where, as it turns out, the API is a little bit flawed in Fusion in one specific area. Basically, there is a process they tell you to use when you're using the API, and as it turns out, the process does not work for some components, which was a bit annoying because I spent a lot of time trying to figure it out, assuming that was a problem on my end, and it turned out just being a problem on the extension end as verified by other users. So that is a fun story that we will be discussing when I do the video, and is part of the reason why that extension is not done at this point. Probably just center this on the sketch like that. This is pen diameter, pen dia, and let's see. Flex wall thickness will be 2 is what I normally do for that. Flex wall thickness. So there we go. That is a clip. Now we just got to convert this into something that we can attach. So let's mock up a board down here. How do I want to position this? I guess position it like this. We will have that quinky dink over here on the center, and then we can probably. So it's somewhere between here. Nah, I guess that's not right. Yeah, okay. So let's back up a second. Let's actually toss our tangent lines in. I was going to wait on this one, but we'll do this now to give us a better idea of what's going on here. So this guy should also be perpendicular. And I guess they don't have to be tangent. Maybe, for the heck of it, we go tangent on the inside. There's that. And then... Actually, you know what? Changed my mind. I'm allowed to change my mind. Let's do boxes instead. It makes life easier. Alright. So this box is going to be tangent there. This is going to be flex distance. Go in. One of those things, on a design this simple, I don't feel the need to, but could just be designing half of this and mirroring it. That's how I do a lot of designs. Again, for a design this simple though, don't think it's really necessary. Now, next question is, as we discussed earlier, how high up this goes. And it's actually going to have to be this one. Actually, you can probably toss this here right now and then figure out the width off of that. And this can be collinear because it's not really going to be doing anything. Oh, yeah, I guess that would be, if I do coincidence that makes sense because this is a tangent here. Am I unhappy with that? I don't think I am. So, let's go ahead and just stick with that. Makes our life easy. Now, no. At this point, there's that. That needs to be there, so this needs to be some distance from here. Let me do that the other way, just to make sure that it is not on the center point and actually goes centric instead, with no coincidence on the center point. It'll be tangent there, and then we can set you off by, honestly, probably just 1 millimeter is fine. And then the backboard thickness. So, backboard thickness, it's a question of, I'll probably just do 4 to make it, so 3 millimeter plastic can be a little bit flexible. That's not terrible. I kind of want it to be a little bit more stiff though, so we'll go with 4. Board thickness 4. Okay, so this is our backboard. There's that. And then this guy, we probably don't need any offset from that. That should just be collinear, and then we can toss in, make sure we get the correct line though, that one. The flex thickness. This doesn't have to be flex thickness. This could be thicker, but I do not see the need for that. So we will keep it a bit thin. The other thing that we can consider doing here. Do we? Yeah, let's go ahead and do it. It's probably better in the long run to have this be the one that's collinear instead. That way this is countersunk into the backboard. That way wherever we mount this up, it's only 2 millimeters that would be sticking out, but we just, one of those things, make sure that it's flat. And to finish this off, we will go ahead and just tangent that here for the heck of it. It doesn't necessarily matter. Double check that we are constrained. We are. And now we can extrude the clip. And how we want to do this. Because actually, now that I'm thinking about it, we could loft it. I don't know if that's necessary. That may just be overkill because the pen has a draft to it. So if we loft this up and mimic that draft, it kind of sits cleaner in there, but again, it may just be overkill. And actually, because this is a flex clip, I think I'm going to actually change the inside radius here to something more like 10.6 so that it's definitely squeezing more than anything else. Yeah, so I think, and it occurs to me that we did this design on the wrong plane. Let me, fortunately we're early enough in the design that is probably not going to cause that much of an issue. I want to do this here. Alright, and let's double check this to make sure our constraints are black, not green. Not seeing anything that's, I mean, that might be green right there. No, that's just green from the axis. Okay, yeah, that's just the y-axis green. Alright, it looks like nothing got switched over to fixed. That's what I mean by green. Sometimes it does that when you change things up, like the plane. That, however, does not appear to be an issue today. So, get this extruded, symmetric, hold distance, and we will go. What looks good to me? Grab my calipers really quick. Yeah, let's go like half an inch. Let's go like 12 millimeters. Sounds fine. Alright, there we go. And like I said, we'll hop back up in here and drop this down by a little bit just to make it a little bit tighter in there. Alright. Clip design. This is a clip. And I should keep in mind that this is specifically for these ultra fine pens. At the moment, swap back to the camera really quick. At the moment, this is showing up just fine on the camera. So I was kind of curious about that, especially once I got the pens in my hand. I was like, man, this feels very small, you know? So I was a bit concerned that it might not show up well on the camera, and I might have to buy the thicker pens. But since this is showing up just fine, it seems like to me, probably don't need to worry about designing for bigger pens. If we were to make another design with bigger pens, chances are by the time we get done this, because it's parametric enough, I very well may be able to just come in here, swap this out to a larger, and we'll probably be fine. It'll probably update just fine. You know, make a copy of it and then update it on the copy. And literally just change that number probably is going to be enough to update the whole entire design. I can't think of any complications that are going to arise here. So, with that out of the way and said, let's go ahead and do the backboard then. New component. Backboard. And sounds like the playlist ended. So let's grab another playlist. Where is my... Huh. Interesting. The music player changed on me since the last time. And it doesn't look like, I guess the difference here for me is that it used to group them up by album, but now it looks like, because I have all the free music that I got off YouTube, add to play queue. I have all that labeled as YouTube audio library as the CD so that they'd all be grouped together under the same CD. Or album, however you like to say that. But it is not actually showing them grouped as the same album because they have different artists, which is a bit annoying. It used to group them, and that means that now it's going to take me a few extra seconds to hit the add to play queue for all of them. And let's make sure, okay, shuffle is on. All right, moving on. Onwards and forwards. So. I guess at this point, we will take a construction plane from the back of this guy. And, whoops. My bad. There we go, try that again. Make sure it's organized correctly. Bottom of clip. Outside bottom of clip. Okay. Board 1. Hop in here, and we can do the backboard from that one. So, we can do that. We're gonna also want, actually, we probably don't want that one, to be honest. Do we? Yeah, actually, for the countersink we do, but we also want that guy, and I think because this is small enough, I'm not gonna bother with. Do we bother? Basically, this should clip into place, and honestly, it may be useful to put a little flange on this clip to make sure that it stays in place. I'm trying to think. So what was the last thing I designed with a clip? Yeah, you're going to get spoiled on a bunch of projects that I've been doing. Yeah. So this is the project that I was talking about last. Did I bother? Huh. Because it was last saved in a newer version. Huh. Fascinating. Okay. You know what? I guess I'm going to go ahead and get that restarted then, because that's a bit annoying. So this is a marker holder. Alright, let's restart Fusion then. Fusion. So while the what do you mean sign in? All right, let me kick you back to the camera really quick because I don't know what it's doing. All right, anyway, as I was going to say, while we were waiting for it to boot up, I've got some interesting projects on the way for you to see, and the more interesting ones are going to be full videos, but I'm looking at doing a lot of smaller videos, and I almost put my passwords right on the screen, which is probably not the first time I've almost done that. I feel like I've almost done that before. But anyway, point being is that you're probably going to see a lot of shorts coming up as well. Because the fact of the matter is that there are a lot of projects that I did that just plain do not require a full-length video. They were just projects looking to solve an issue, and the actual design of the what you call it doesn't really need explanation, right? All right, cool. Now signed in. So I know that okay, gotcha. I closed the one browser window for sign in because in the newer versions of Fusion, which probably should have tipped me off that I was on an old version here, because this is my streaming account. Huh. Yeah, Fusion is being a dork. Anyway. Yeah, so Fusion is definitely out of date because I have not been signed into this user. I've already signed in on the web. Go to project. Open. Okay, gotcha. For that reason, I have to go through all this, and now that we are back, and I'm pretty sure we're back, let me just make sure it loads correctly. We're running into a bunch of little problems here, unfortunately. So, with the shorts, if there's anything you want to ask about the design of the shorts, is where I was going with that whole entire tangent. feel free to ask in just other streams, especially if I do another just talking stream. I'm not really planning on doing a just talking stream this time. I normally do just talking streams right after breaks, but because I have so much to get done, it kind of seems like, I don't know, it kind of seems a little unuseful, because it's going to be like, well, here I am just talking about all the stuff I got done, but at the same time, I should be literally getting those things up and posted instead. Okay, that's right. An earlier version of this design had those clips in it. Oops. Tried scrolling down. And then I decided to abandon the clips in favor of another method. Open, please. Thank you. And yeah, so this one, let me get that out of the way. As you can see, has the little flange on the top, and this one's going the opposite way, but it should work the same exact way going this way. So this is, yeah, I'll probably go ahead and put the flanges on just to make sure that it stays there. The other project, actually, I can pull up the other project. Again, this is spoilers for videos that are going to come out, but I'm not particularly concerned about it. Videos should be out sooner rather than later, so it's not that big of a deal. Lights, please. There we go. Yeah, so here's the other one. So that is, as you can see, this one does not actually have the flanges, and the reason this one does not have the flanges is actually because Wagos go inside there. Let me see if I should actually have, let's see, where's this one? This one's the power end, right? Yes. There they are. Yeah. So because the Wagos go in there, that will keep this clip from falling out the bottom. So, just a couple different demonstrations that I wanted to show here. For this one, though, I do think it makes sense to... Does it? Yeah, I think it does make sense to add the flanges on there. So I'm going to backtrack really quick. We will go ahead and toss those flanges in there. Whoops, do not do that. I don't want that to be too middle. I want that to be collinear with the top of the board, which is why I'm making that adjustment. And then this angle, I normally do something pretty steep, so I'm just going to up this to 60 because you want it easy enough to slip through, and the steeper it is, the easier it is to slip through. And then we can just clip that to that, and then it's just a matter of overhang. And this overhang right here is going to determine how much extra gap we need in order to squeeze this down and through the board. So. I guess just one. I'm just going to do 1 millimeter. And we'll probably just mirror that across. No. Let us... I know I normally don't do the mirrors in the sketches, but I think in this case it just makes more sense because this whole entire sketch is getting extruded like this. It makes more sense to do it this way. Close this sidebar, get that out of here, swap back to miscellaneous just to make sure that we are done. There we go. Miscellaneous takes forever to load because I have so much crap in it. And back to the backboard. Alright, so at this point, actually I don't need the flange. We can keep that as the bottom. And actually, more to the point, I probably don't even need these guys. I was thinking of sliding each of these hooks up through a slot, but now that I got the flanges, that makes a lot less sense. We'll probably just put that in there and then open it up a little bit to make sure they get through. The question actually is, and not even the question, but the thing to recognize here is that we have all this gap between here, 6 millimeters gap, to close up. Now, obviously, if we look at this, let's finish sketch here. Take this, and it's not going to bend perfectly, but for rough numbers, right? Here's our midpoint, and I'll just do this, and linking that to that. So in theory, this is going to bend such that that point hits here, okay? Hits this midpoint, which means that whatever that angle is, which I should just be able to do this and then do this. I think that makes sense to me. And then we can drag another one, or maybe not down to there. Well, point being is that this angle right here, right, determines how far over this little 1 millimeter nub gets. And I'm guessing that that angle is sufficient, that this 1 millimeter nub will end up something like this. And let's draw another line in here. Make this parallel. And actually, we can do... I don't know if it's... so let's do that so that that is collinear with that, right? Point being is that this will be here-ish. That will be perpendicular. And this will be 60. Whoops. 60. And I'm going way out of my way to demonstrate something that probably I could have explained it a lot quicker. Oh, you're perpendicular to something. Oops, Control Z. Over here, please. Thank you. 1. All right, there we go. So, point being is at this angle, you can see how that almost clears this line right here. This is the whole entire point I'm trying to get across here, which, again, I could have just said out loud and probably finished up quicker and moved on with our life, but some people are visual. So, in theory, this position right here is where this tab is going to end up after we flex this in towards the center. Okay? In which case, as you can see, that's only like 0.5 millimeter right here that we need to open up. I wonder whether or not this line that I set up here is even accurate, and whether or not we can actually have less than 1 millimeter of gap in order to get this tab through. Because this tab right here is the thing that has to clear through in order to get the clip through the bottom. So, just jam that Control Z. Yes, this is where we're at. And now we can toss this in here. And again, this design is a lot more simpler. Whoops, that was supposed to be parallel. My bad. This design is going to be a lot more simpler. A lot more simpler. It's going to be simpler now that I know that I'm going to just use 3 millimeters there. Actually, what's the overall? Let's check first before I commit to that. What the overall is here, because we may want a bigger backboard. So that's 3/4 of an inch-ish, less than 3/4 of an inch. Is that big enough? The point being is that if we're going to mount this somewhere, then we need space in order to mount it. We need enough space to attach something to it to mount it. So it may be worth just making this an arbitrary, like let's say 1 inch thick, even though we don't need that much space on either side of the clip. It's quote unquote wasted plastic. That is definitely an argument. And I think I like that argument. Now the question is 1 inch even enough, or do we want it thicker than 1 inch to give ourselves ample space to mount to whatever? Which is another argument in and of itself. Didn't I just turn on construction lines? Okay, whatever. Time to make that decision. So 1 inch versus, let's say, 2 inches. So if I make it 2 inches, then honestly, it may be worthwhile. Well, it would definitely look better, I guess, to make the clip 1 inch. If we're going to go a full 2 inches on the back plate, then it would just plain look better. So call that 50 right there. You can see how big that is compared to this little clip right here. So it would make more sense to increase this to 25 millimeters at that point. I don't think that's unreasonable. Whoops. Okay. I swear I haven't gained weight. That was me pushing on my armrest. And then my armrest making a very bad sound. I do think I like this better. I do think I like this better. The full 2 inches. So we are going to go ahead and stick with this. Now the only question is, at that 50 millimeters, whether or not, or how much of the pen, I guess I should say, is encompassed in that, which it looks like the pen is more than half. Looks like that might be more than half the pen. Just kind of comparing 50 millimeters to the pen. So back to the draft on the pen being rather significant at that point. When we were down at the 1/2 inch. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm being a dum-dum. The clip is only 25 millimeters, so it's not that big of a deal. Okay, the clip's only 25 millimeters. I was going to say, we may want to at that point loft the clip into the draft of the pen to make it better, to make it fit better. But at 25 millimeters, I think I'm willing to live with that. Show. Next up, let me do this rather. Make that 50 millimeters. Flip length. Make that 25. And let's just update these so that we are more parametric. Backboard height. And pop back over here. Flip length. Back into here, and what kind of spacing do we want between the pens? I think we actually want like a full inch between the pens, because my fat fingers need to get in there in order to actually grab the pens. So one of those things, at less than an inch, chances are my thumb and my finger have a hard time getting in there and snagging the pen off the clip. So let's go with 1 inch spacing on the pens. 25 millimeters. And down this end, I think I'm just going to leave that at that, which, yeah, at that point, we probably need to swap this for that guy. Oh, no, not that guy. This guy. Because we want to be symmetric up and down. Not necessarily left and right. So that needs to go away. That needs to go away. This needs to be quinky-dinked. Quinky-dinked. Right angle. And then you can be mid-pointed on that guy. And this guy can extend for whatever. So. Yeah, I think I'm probably alright doing it this way. I was trying to decide whether or not I wanted to do this a different way, but we're probably all right. We're probably all right. So, minus backboard thickness. What did I do here? I just realized. Remember how I got rid of the middle part? I need the middle part back. I was thinking, so what I was thinking is that, yeah, I was just wrong. I was just plain wrong. There's nothing to it. Let's see. We could change up how we're doing this. It's not unreasonable. Hit this button and take a quick look at this. So what we could do, because the problem right now is that this just slides straight out the front. And remember how I projected in these walls right here? That's because I was going to put a tab in the middle. That way this slid up and the tab was on the inside. We can still do that. I'm just trying to figure out whether or not we don't want to go for a different solution, which is to draft these out, add some kind of feature to it. It doesn't necessarily need to be a draft, but draft them out so that it can't slide all the way through. And this clip then prevents it from sliding back. We can do either of those. It's not necessarily, there's not necessarily a wrong or right way. I think it makes more sense to put the extra feature on the clip. And the reason why I think it makes more sense to do that, or at least it's easier at any rate, is because, go ahead and drop that in, and instead of doing something fancy like a dovetail or something like that, which would be viable, we could do that. I'm just going to use a square box, rectangle box. The reason why this is slightly, I think, better than putting the tab in the base, in the backboard, is because it's less likely for this to snap off as opposed, or not even necessarily less likely for this to snap off. Let me just extrude this really quick because I think what I'm about to say is going to be easier to see. If I extrude this, was I happy with 2 millimeters there? I think I was. I was thinking 2 millimeters here is what I was thinking. But okay. So yeah, let's extrude this really quick, and I think that will demonstrate my point to make it easier to see. So this is one solid unit going the full length of this clip, which is again right now is 25 millimeters. If I put the tab in here instead, let's take this guy out and do that. So if I pass this tab in here, oops, that was the wrong button to click. Center on that. Winkydink with that guy because that's our wall right there. And collinear there. Finish. Extrude. Oops. Backboard. Extrude. That. I gotta do another extrude. My bad. That. Object to. Okay. So that's how it would look otherwise, right? That was the alternative method of doing this. And the only reason I don't like this as much is, well, there's two reasons actually. One, we do have to be careful with how we get this clip in and out. These hoops right here now do have to fit through this, which means that we got to thin that out a little bit. And the second reason is that that little feature in there is kind of small relative to the rest of the back plate. Whereas relative to the rest of the clip, this feature is full sized, right? So it's just as sturdy as the rest of the clip. So that's why I'm going to go with the second one rather than go with the first one rather than the second one I just demonstrated. Show. Let me turn this back on to make sure. Yeah, okay, so that is projecting the full base. So actually what I need to do is toss these lines in still, because not those lines actually. I take it back. I need to project the outside of these. That guy and that guy, because that's where we need to go down to. So let me go ahead and toss my 3mm in here now, because now I want the 3mm on the outside of this wall. One of those things, not really necessary, I should say. We could make that a little bit thinner. It's not really that structural, but we're gonna go with that for now. And yeah, everything looks good here. So turn that back on, and now extrude that. Not that. Sorry. That was what we extruded before. Stop it. We want to extrude these guys for this version. From object, and we can get rid of this and go from there, distance to object, the bottom of this guy. Attempt to grab the bottom of that guy. There we go. Turn that back on, turn that off. And are you giving me an error right now? You know you're not. Okay, I saw a yellow error pop up for a second there. So you can see how this kind of, I don't know, this feels more sturdy to me right here on the base plate. Maybe I'm delusional, but I think that is correct. So back to where we were, which was, and I saw that they added these buttons. I'm pretty sure these buttons were not here the last time we did a stream, but it is definitely more useful to only have the circular pattern up here. And I could, at this point, honestly, I probably should take this off, because we can just go into the circular pattern and tab over to our other patterns. That is a very useful feature. I'm very happy with Fusion. Thank you. Actually, you know what? I don't normally do body. I normally do features, but I've been getting more and more comfortable with stuff like the body, pattern body, and identical identical patterns, the identical pattern feature. So for that reason, I think we'll go with that. And as always, -0.2. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with -0.2 for the printing offsets there. Before we go ahead and pattern, again, because I'm patterning the body itself, we can get away with this. Path, select the path, spacing, start point 0. Distance is going to be pen spacing, and actually it looks like we got to go 1 here. And yeah, where is? Oh, I guess it's not on this one because I'm doing body. That's right, because I'm doing body. It's not going to give me the option for adjust, optimize, and identical. And this is number of pens. Okay, and anything else we want to do? I think I will do right instead of symmetrical. We could do symmetrical just to keep everything on center, but I'm pretty sure we're done here, so it's not necessary. I'm pretty sure we're good with that. I'm not seeing anything else I want to change there. Okay. That is what I was kind of curious about. You know how I normally don't do all this? So here's the alternative way that I was thinking is we can just grab all these and then select what we want to keep, right? That is the inside hole, so we actually don't want that one. It's a bit difficult, but this is an option, and why I kind of wanted to try this out. Because, okay, that is the center hole. Because this is not something I normally do on stream. I don't normally do it this way on stream. But I wanted to, one of those things we just got back, may as well experiment a little bit. That is that guy. Do this. So yeah, and this is interesting right here. I guess it makes sense though. There were a couple different ways of doing this. I opted for this way. I can't remember if I need to do remove tools. Okay, I definitely did not want to do remove tools. Okay, join. Huh. Interesting. Why? I feel like the last time I did this, it actually... Oh, is it intersect? Which was the correct way of doing this? I know I've done this before. Okay, it looks like it was intersect, but then I have to join the bodies. Okay, as it turns out, this was not the easier way of doing it. Again, we're experimenting a little bit with the first stream back here. We're going to undo this, and I'm going to do this the other way. So. The easier way, or the way that I'm going to do this, rather, is what I should say, is, where is my other dimension here? Oh, I don't have another dimension set. I guess I lost it. So this is going to be pen spacing times pen number of pens minus 1. Put that in parens. There we go. So that is the gap between, and then we need... Oh, I don't actually have the width of this guy, do I? The width of the clip itself. The width of the clip itself. How do I calculate that? Let's just do that for right now. Let me grab this and see what this is. 14.2. And that is 14.2 because, let's look at the clip design really quick. We are tangent here. No, we are tangent here. We're a tangent here, which is our 10.2 plus 2 and 2 for the wall thickness, right? This wall thickness here and this wall thickness here. That's how it happens, right? So that's 14.2 right there. Okay, so that makes sense. Okay, so we can calculate it out. Good. So that plus... And I think I'm going to do my number of pens minus 1 again, because instead of measuring... Normally I'd measure from this edge, but I have this set up right now to measure from this edge. You know what? Diameter... Let's just get it typed up really quick. Plus 2 times 2 for the wings. Times number of pens. And I will Control X that, change that to 1, and then delete it. And come back over here. Actually, yeah, come back over here. Paste it back in, and then do 3 times 2 for the ends. And if I did all my math correctly, that should work out. So we pop back to here. Delete all this. Okay, I don't get a delete after. Delete. And then we will simply extrude all this backplate thickness and make sure we are going the correct direction. We are not. Go. And then we will cut the hole in. Instead, that way we have an easier time patterning it. So that, and that. Distance to object. Cut. Turn this body back on. Turn that body off. Double check that we're only cutting the thing we want to cut it. And then cut the rest of that through. Distance off. Flipperoonie. Objects cut are good. And go back to offsetting these faces. Minus 0.2. No, 0.2 is way too much. What am I at? I'm at 0.05. 0.2 is what I do for really loose fits. I was thinking that I may as well do a really loose fit, but that doesn't make nearly as much sense. I am at 0.05, right? Alright, let me do 0.1 just to be safe. I'm pretty sure my printer right now is handling 0.05 just fine, tolerance. But this being the first project back from break, even though I went and did all these other projects on break successfully. But, yeah, I'm suddenly getting paranoid. So, we're going to stick with that for right now. Alright, and I'm going to go back to features because I like features better. And obviously the last one did not work out. There we go. Start as 0. Okay, that's going the correct direction. This is number of pens. Number of pens. And the distance is pen spacing. Oh. Spacing. Pen spacing. And... shoot, I forgot. Do I gotta offset that? I don't think I do. Let's look at this end. And we'll leave it on just to see what happens. Okay. Oh, I see what I did wrong. I clicked too many features. Number of pens, pen spacing. That does not look right, obviously. Let's just take a quick inspect, and maybe I did my numbers wrong. Yeah, okay. So that is not pen spacing. Oh, yeah, pen spacing plus pen diameter plus 2 times 2. There we go. All right. And now we can check that one. There to there is a little bit short. Did I get the spacing right here? Oh, wait. No. That's 28. That's 24. 25. We're 0.2 off. Oh, we're 0.2 off because I have the 0.1 offsets on here. That's why I'm 0.2 off. Okay. That makes sense. And then down here is the other one I wanted to check. So this one should be 0.29, unless I'm going crazy. I mean 2.9 rather. 2.9. Yes, 2.9. All right, cool. So that is exactly what we needed to do. Let me come back in here. Copy this. Change parameters. New parameter. Pattern spacing. Do that. Okay. Do this. Get that updated. And then hop in clips. Pattern long path. And this one we can do bodies. Do I want to do bodies or... Yeah, no. Come up here. Components. We'll do that. Select that. Spacing. 0. Pattern spacing. Number of pens. Please. Thank you. And that was components. Okay. Bodies. There we go. And I just got to reverse that one. So, actually, I think I can do this. 0. Okay, yeah, there we go. Okay. Plastic. Yeah. You know what? Let's just do this. Yeah, it's not going to propagate. So let's back up a second. That and that. Stick with the basic one so far. There we go. And do we see any obvious errors? The one thing, so I did reduce, I do have the offset on the inside of the bottom here. I wonder whether or not I also want to offset the top of the bottom of this tab a little bit, just to make sure that it has some extra breathing room to clip in. I guess I won't. I guess we will assume that we're doing all right and call this one done. Call this one done unless I want to go ahead and preemptively put mounting holes in here. We have 25 inches to work with, so I could just drop in mounting holes, 25 millimeters rather, about an inch. I could drop in mounting holes, and that will be useful later. So let's see. I think I'm gonna go with 4 millimeter mounting holes on the premise that it could end up on extrusion. I normally like to use for lightweight applications like this, M4s for attaching to extrusion via T-nuts, because the M4s are the largest size that, well, actually no, I take that back. I do have the rock-in ones now, that M6s. I have M6 rock-ins that you can insert after the fact, as opposed to the traditional T-nuts that you can't. So just for the heck of it, camera, and I'm still living out of boxes here because my bench isn't done yet, but, and all that just being said so that I can justify taking a minute here to figure out. So these are the normal T-nuts, right? Or relatively normal. These ones, the M5 ones, actually the M5 ones I think actually do twist in. Okay, so I could have been wrong with that. But I have M6s. Alright, so here is the traditional M6 in here. I guess I'll pull it out of the bag to make it easier on the camera. So that's your traditional M6 T-nut right there. Side profile, like that. So that will not go into the T-nut slot after the assembly is put together. However, if I can find, because I was using them in a project and therefore they're probably not back where they belong yet. Not that anything's back where it belongs, because again, living out of boxes right now. But I did get new ones, point being, and not with the drill bit I was using. Not in that pile there. Huh. You know what? They're probably still at work. Alright. So, they're probably still at work, but point being is they have, yeah, I guess I'll do the side profile. So this is the side profile on them. So the normal ones, right, look like this roughly. Okay, that's how a normal T-nut looks like. At least the M6 ones that don't slide in afterwards. These ones I've got look like this. So what happens is you can put this on its side. So here is my T-nut slot, roughly drawn. Okay. And actually I should make that bigger, because an M6 fits in there. So an M6 bolt, that's the size of the opening right here. So with this one, you just plain can't get that through. But with this one, you can do this, put it in this way, and then this piece, my drawing isn't good enough really to demonstrate it, but that side actually can slide past this opening because it's round. Okay, so this whole entire thing pivots in to this wall, which clears that side and lets you get in. It actually does take a little bit of pressure to get in there. There's been a lot of times where, or not a lot of times, but when I first started using them is what I should say, I thought I had them in there and then they weren't moving, because what actually happened was I had them I think something like this. I think this is more or less how it was sitting in there, and therefore it was jammed up on this diagonal here instead of being completely flat and down. So basically this was jammed against this corner here, whereas normally once it gets in here, it sits flat against the bottom here. So I'm pretty sure that was my problem I had at first, but point being is that I do have M6s that I could use to mount this. However, I think I will, because it's such a lightweight application, stick with the M4s. So we're on the backboard right now. I'm gonna go ahead and pop this open. Gonna go like this. Gonna toss this in here. Gonna click that on that. Going to modify, change parameters. M4 bolt, 4 key, M4 bolt, key, and this spacing is going to be pattern spacing. Actually, no, not pattern spacing. This is going to be pen spacing divided by 2. Extrude that. Distance all. Flipperooski. Cut. Okay, whatever. And the only question is whether or not we want to put a countersink on the front side. I don't see a need to countersink it on the front side. That seems like overkill to me. Let me check just for the heck of it. If it's 2 millimeters, then maybe I do it, but I'm pretty sure the M4 is closer to 3 millimeters. Bolts and nuts. M4 nut, M4 by 8 socket head, and parameters, bolt head thickness 4 millimeters. Yeah, so doesn't make any sense to countersink that. That can stick out on here. My finger's not really going to get in the way there, especially because it's probably going to use 2 of these holes that I'm about to make. So, not necessary. Come back in here. Pattern long path, features, that guy, path, that guy. Actually, maybe I should do this guy. Okay, don't do that guy. Huh, interesting. That guy. Spacing. Pattern spacing. This is going to be pens -1. Because we're doing the space in between. That's going to be 0. And that looks right. Yeah, that looks right. Okay. There we go. Now, the last thing is actually what I have been doing, and unfortunately add-ins do not carry across all your Autodesk or all your Fusion sign-ins, unfortunately, unlike other products. They do not have that up yet, but an add-in that I have started using on my other projects is the text parameter add-in, which is really nice because what that allows me to do is we could go ahead and add the version number onto these printed pieces, and I'll come back and do that later. But again, since I don't have it installed on this user right now, it will automatically update the version number to be in line with the current version of the program of the save file. And I'm hesitating here because the whiteboard cover that I used on this, so it said 4 days to cure, and I was going to leave this 7 days to cure, but that would be Saturday, and I really wanted to stream today. So one of these things where we'll pop back over to the camera so you can see me struggling here. I probably should have left this for the full 7 days. Again, it's one of those things I figured, you know what? The can says 4 days. It's been 4 days. I'll use 4 days. And it's definitely been a full 4 days. I did it on Sunday in the morning. It was done before lunch. And it is obviously nighttime right now. So it's definitely been more than 4 times 24 hours. But it appears that it is not coming off nearly as well if I leave it sit, because all this stuff is the longest stuff that have been on the board. The longest is the stuff that's not coming off. So again, part of that may just be quality of this spray, but it may have been that I probably should have left this the extra couple of days. So at this point, I'm going to have to cry about it. I was cleaning it off because I was about to start drawing for this guy. But at this point, I guess I can go ahead and try to get whiteboard cleaner and pick some of that up and see if that will take this off. Otherwise, the other solution is to sand this and reapply, which I'm not particularly interested in. So we'll see what happens there. Good bunch of men. Okay. Let's see. What time is it now? Yeah, it's 9:30. Honestly, I know I promised 2 things here. I'm just thinking that this guy is probably going to take 2 or 3 hours of design. So for that reason, I think I am actually going to backtrack on my promise here, and we will stick to just the simple pen holder for today. Again, nice easy stream to get us back in. And I may stream tomorrow night, I may not. I'll see what's happening. I do have some work to do, plus I want to get some work done on projects, because again, I didn't get all the projects done that I wanted to get done on break while I was away. So I might just dedicate Friday to getting projects done, and we will do this stream, the monitor, the miniature monitor, and camera holder. May save that for Saturday. So that, I do believe, is the plan. Where's Fusion? There's Fusion. This came together quite well. Well, reasonably well. Again, I tried out the boundary fill thing there because it was a feature that I had used in one of my other projects that actually worked pretty well in that specific application. I was like, you know what, let's try it again. And obviously it did not work particularly well in this application, but at least got to try it. Very simple design was all I was looking for, because again, let's just have fun and get back into the swing of things. So overall, pretty happy with this stream tonight. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. As for going forward, obviously I mentioned that we'll stream the camera mount and monitor mount on Saturday, but I again have a whole bunch of video stuff, recorded video in the can that needs to be edited, and I need to start getting those videos out and posted. So the weekends, and I discussed this back a few months ago when I was talking about how I was going to switch over the channel a little bit, change the channel content a little bit. Videos do have to take some amount of priority, and therefore we will not be doing as many streams now that we're back as I had been doing last year. Last year I was doing, a stream basically every day. Or maybe it wasn't every day. Maybe it was 5 or 6 days a week. Although it was Saturday and Sunday, I was streaming 2 or 3 times a day. So it makes up for it. I may have been hitting 10 streams a week, honestly, at the end of it. Point being is we're not going to be there. Again, I'm going to prioritize more on doing videos. Videos seem to get more views, but, it is what it is. The nice thing, and I've talked about this before, but the nice thing about streams, and the reason I tried pushing really hard on the streams, is that things just plain get done, right? I can iterate through projects a lot quicker by streaming the project than by putting together a video and having to edit it. That slows down the creation of new projects, which is why I was hoping not to have to do that, but not the world we live in. So we will be adapting. Adapt, overcome, succeed, whatever the saying is. And video game streams. So I should have gotten at least one new game. I really should have picked up one of the games on my wish list while they were on sale, because a few of them were to start them. The Chroma Squad crashed on me the last 2 boss fights, which was really annoying, and I didn't want to have to fight through, because the final boss fights are long multi-stage battles. It takes a lot of time to get back through them after it crashes, and I didn't want to have to stream that all over again for the 3rd time. So my plan with that, and one of those things, I've not played any video games while I was on break, so otherwise I would have that video already recorded. But point being is that I was going to record, myself playing through the rest of it, and then supercut together the first stream where the game crashed on Battle 2, the second stream where the game crashed on Battle 3, and the final locally recorded video, which would be just Battle 4. So we'd have the first successful clearing of the first stage of the final boss battle from the first stream, the second and third stages of the final boss battle from the second stream, and then the final boss battle from the local recorded, and that would be the video. That was the plan. That is going to happen eventually, but one of those things, I haven't gotten around to it. I haven't been playing video games. As for Disgaea, honestly, I realized how much of a grind it is, and I know that I had done all that extra grinding off stream so that we could continue through the story. I'm not sure if I'm actually going back to that, so that is on hold, at least for now, until I officially drop it. With chess, so chess, I am somewhere between 1100 and 1200, and I can't tell you where I am right now because who the heck knows. My rating on chess basically went like this, right? So it went 1,000, 12,000, and then it started doing this. And this has been the past 2 months because I have been playing chess. I don't count chess as video games, but I've been playing games of chess, and my rating has been this huge line of spikes. I don't know if I feel like playing chess on stream because of that until I figure out what the heck is going wrong with me. We may not be playing chess. Again, there are games on my wish list that I should have picked up because I saw they were on sale, and I did not. Strategy games specifically, because again, I like strategy games. However, I did get into I did enter the Kickstarter and get into the beta for Warside. Warside, that's what it's called, right? So when the beta for that opens up, the open beta that you're allowed to stream, we will be doing that. So look forward to that. And I'm just pulling it up to see, because I can't remember what they said. I thought they said something like April the beta would be open, but obviously we're in June now. So I'm trying to... Okay, yeah, so May, June, okay, yeah. So the May email for the backer update, project update for Warside said end of May, maybe beginning of June. Again, end of May was yesterday, beginning of June is today, so any minute now they'll be releasing the beta. In theory, hopefully they'll be releasing the beta, and then we'll go from there. They have some verbiage in their newsletter that suggests that there will be regulations for either playing or streaming, it sounds like, the beta, but assuming I can stream it, I will stream Warside the second I get access to it. I played all of the Advanced Wars games, at least all the ones that got localized into English, were released in America. Played all of them. Did enjoy them. I did see, the second I backed Warside, all of a sudden Nintendo started getting me ads on various platforms for the reboot of the original Advance Wars. I didn't pick that up because, frankly, well, two reasons. One, I don't have a Switch, and the other reason is I've played through those games, and while they do definitely look nicer, I saw the screenshots and some of the gameplay, and they do look nicer, but I just plain don't have any reason to go back to them. I don't think the upgraded graphics really are going to get me there. Warside is supposed to be a very similar game to Advance Wars, so I am looking forward to that because I would like to have another Advance Wars experience. And yeah, I guess the only other thing I'll say is the one interesting thing is I want to see what they do with the mechanics, because I actually liked some of the mechanics from Advance Wars 2. Advance Wars 2 was the shift, right? They had Advance Wars DS, did they have a third Advance Wars? Yeah, I think they had 3. It's been so long. Yeah. Was it Advance Wars, Black Hole, and then DS? Something like that. And then they had the reboot of the series, which was Advance Wars 2. I actually did like a lot of mechanics in Advance Wars 2. I thought it was a good reboot of the series. And it'll be interesting to see whether or not Warside tries to stay true to the original, form of Advance Wars, or if they decide to take a different tack on many of the mechanics, much like Advance Wars 2 did. Days of Ruin. I think it was Days of Ruin is what the Advance Wars 2 that I'll keep on referring to was. You know what? I've got the internet here. I do, in fact, have a computer. I could be looking this up. Advance Wars series. All right. Advance Wars series. Okay, Days of Ruin. I was right about that. Yes. Okay, cool. I actually got that right. So it was Advance Wars, technically speaking, Advance Wars 2 Black Hole Rising, but I did say Black Hole Rising, and then DS. I was right about that. And then Days of Ruin. So evidently Dark Conflict in the EU and Australia. So anybody on either side of either ocean, you may know it as Dark Conflict. Here in America, we call it Days of Ruin. Or at least not North America. So, anyway, yeah, like I said, I did really like a lot of the changes made to it in Days of Ruin. I thought it was a good reboot. I thought that it was interesting. But anyway, I am rambling now. And point being is Warside will get streamed 100% as soon as I am allowed to stream it. So, and otherwise, we will have 1 to 2, I guess I'll dedicate to at least one stream a day on the weekends. Because again, videoing, editing has to happen. I have to get videos out. So since I gotta get videos out, I can't promise multiple streams on the weekend. But at least one stream each day on the weekend. And one of these things, I may do something like a design stream on Saturday and then a video game stream on Sunday. That may be what I settle into. Otherwise, during the week, maybe 3 times a week, maybe 2 times a week for streams going forward until I get caught up on videos. Once I get caught up on videos and don't have anything in the backlog to edit, then I can spend more time streaming, because in theory, then videos will just get done as they get done. One of these things, well, no, I'm not going to ramble that far, okay? I was going to get into one of these discussions about YouTube algorithm and how you need to release at least one video a week as a maker in the maker space, preferably more, but we won't touch on that. And this stream is rambling a bit more than I wanted. So, with all that said, good to be back. Thank you guys for watching. And if you are here from the ChatGPT video, welcome. That is easily my best performing video. One of those things, that's why I put out the community post today about the large language models / artificial intelligence being the only thing anybody's talking about nowadays. That was a bit tongue-in-cheek, a bit sarcastic, a bit... boy. But... point being is I can't exactly bite the hand that feeds me. If I get 300 views on the ChatGPT video, that's obviously the market telling me something, or at least trying to tell me something. All right, we're at 250 views right now. I had to check. I knew we were climbing up past 200, so I was kind of curious whether or not we hit the 300 mark point. But compared to many of my other videos, with the exception of, actually, I'm looking at it now. Okay, so things on Thingiverse, videos that go up on Thingiverse, get a decent number of views, by which I mean about 50 to 70. The Mythic Table video actually got upwards of 60, up above 60, which is pretty interesting. Evidently, actually much... Wait a second. Oh, okay, the other one's a stream, that's why. I was going to say, where's the first Mythic Table video? Okay, the first Mythic Table video has 25 views. Okay. Interesting. So the first Mythic Table video has 25 views, but the update video has 60 plus. Well, I mean, whatever. I kind of feel like the first video is more important, but, it is what it is. I guess it's possible that, I believe one of my players / DMs, because our D&D play group rotates DMs, I think one of our members, I guess I'll call him, might have retweeted my video launch on Twitter, and maybe that's why it has so many views. I guess that'd be the explanation. He may not have done it for the first live stream video. Regardless, anyway, I literally said about 5 minutes ago that I was rambling too much at the end of this, and 5 minutes later I'm still rambling. So, thank you guys for watching. I hope you have a great, wonderful day, afternoon, or evening, wherever you're in the world, and I will catch you next time.